If you are a veteran Visual Studio 2010 user, then this is the movie for you. In the next few minutes, I will show the improvements and changes added to the latest version. Usually, a release of Visual Studio is tied to a .NET framework release. That is true for version 2012, and Visual Studio supports the latest release of .NET, which is version 4.5. With this new version, you can build Windows Store apps and test them on an emulator, or on a tablet, or on your desktop. Note, you need to run Visual Studio in Windows 8 in order to create these types of applications. There is also support for Windows Phone 8 apps. Visual Studio ships with several phone simulators for testing purposes. The cloud is also integrated into Visual Studio. Let's talk more about that. In the Microsoft world, Azure is the cloud solution, and Azure roles are the basic unit. With Visual Studio, you can create, administer, and deploy roles. The web role is similar to a web app. It is how you deploy websites onto Azure servers. The worker role is similar to a Windows service. Another role is the virtual machine role. This is just what it sounds like, a way to create Windows or Linux virtual servers. Visual Studio adds search functionality throughout the environment. The quick launch helps locate the commands available in the Visual Studio IDE. The toolbox is searchable to provide fast access to controls during development. The Add Reference dialog contains a search box to quickly search all assemblies. Finally, the Solution Explorer has an awesome search tool for filtering the list of available projects and files, down to a few that you need to finish your coding tasks. With search tools like these, it is easy to find what you are looking for in the IDE. True multi-monitor support is now available. Tear off any window or tab in the IDE and drag it to another monitor. It's hard to demonstrate multiple monitors in a video. To compensate, I took a screenshot of my 3 monitors. In the center screen is the main IDE. On the left is an editor that I dragged to my left monitor. And on my right side monitor, I have my XAML editor. There are some designer enhancements in the new version. The biggest change is in the consolidation of the Expression Blend and the Visual Studio designers. Both tools use the same designer components, so switching between these two companion tools is even more seamless than in prior versions. .NET 4 adds the new async and await features to C# and Visual Basic. Visual Studio provides support for these new features and makes them easy to use and debug in your code. In the WinRT world, there is the concept of portable libraries. These are code libraries that are usable from C++, C#, JavaScript, and Visual Basic WinRT apps. Visual Studio provides a new project type to create portable libraries. The web developer gets a lot of love in this release. There is great support for jQuery and the new HTML5 specifications. The HTML editor IntelliSense is improved to work with HTML5. Plus, the editor comes with a ton of new code snippets for generating boilerplate HTML. The JavaScript editor gets collapsible code sections, better tooltips, and a heap of new code management tools. The CSS editor is much improved. It's gotten to the stage where I almost like using it now. Better color visualization is one fix. Improved IntelliSense, code snippets, and support for browser prefixes are some of the new items. Look for details later in this course. A big ticket item for the web developer is the page inspector. Web developers frequently need to check the runtime HTML source being generated by their ASP.NET web forms and views. Visual Studio Page Inspector is a diagnostic tool that helps you dissect and observe the HTML source and styling information of your web pages. With the Page Inspector, you can get a live view of the browser DOM from within Visual Studio. You can inspect the CSS for any element on the page and trace the information back to the matching CSS file. You can also change the values of elements while the page is live and persist the changes back to the underlying files. Okay, I think you get the idea. There are many more features available. Go to this URL to learn more about all the new enhancements. You'll be glad you did.